She had 17 minutes to save her career, and the only person who could help her was a man she'd never bothered to learn the name of. The lights were dead, the elevators silent. 43 floors stretched between Lena Carter and everything she'd worked for, and the storm outside wasn't waiting. Neither was the board of directors. But he was there. The maintenance guy with the quiet eyes and the daughter's drawing taped to his toolbox. The one everyone walked past like furniture. And when she looked at him, desperate and trapped, he didn't hesitate. "I'll get you there." 3 words. One impossible promise, and a night that would crack open everything she thought she wanted. If you want to see how far desperation, ambition, and one stormy night can take 2 people who were never supposed to meet, stick around. And when you're done, hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. The rain hit the glass like it had a personal grudge. Lena Carter stood at the floor-to-ceiling window on the 43rd floor of the Meridian Tower, arms crossed, watching the city blur under sheets of water. Lightning cracked the sky open every few seconds, brief and violent, turning downtown into a stuttering black-and-white film. She didn't flinch. She'd worked through worse. Behind her, the conference room was a graveyard of coffee cups and crumpled notes. Her laptop sat open on the table, screen glowing with the presentation that would either make or destroy her. 7 years at Grandstone and Pierce. 7 years of 80-hour weeks, missed birthdays, relationships that shriveled under neglect. All of it came down to tonight. 8:47 p.m. 13 minutes until the emergency board meeting on the executive floor. 13 minutes to pitch the Vanguard merger, the deal that would reshape the company and, if she pulled it off, cement her as the youngest senior VP in Grandstone history. No pressure. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, her so-called mentor. They moved the meeting up, 9 o'clock sharp. Don't be late. Lena's jaw tightened. Of course they did. Marcus had been subtly undermining her for months, ever since she'd outmaneuvered him on the Chen acquisition. This was his move. Stack the deck, tilt the odds, see if she'd crack. She wouldn't. She grabbed her blazer off the chair, slung her bag over her shoulder, and headed for the elevator bank. The hallway was empty, fluorescent lights humming overhead. Most people had bolted hours ago when the storm warning started. Not her. Lena didn't leave until the work was done. She jabbed the elevator button. Nothing. She tried again. Still nothing. A prickle of unease crawled up her spine. She glanced at the display panel above the doors. Dark. Completely dark. "Come on," she muttered, pressing the button harder, as if willpower could restart the system. Then the lights went out. Not flickering. Not dimming. Just gone. The hallway plunged into blackness so complete it felt solid. Lena's breath caught. For a second, the only sound was the rain hammering against the windows and her own pulse thudding in her ears. Then the emergency lights kicked in, pale, sickly strips along the floor that barely cut the dark. Her phone buzzed again. She fumbled it out, squinting at the screen. Power's out across 3 blocks. Grid failure. ETA unknown. Lena stared at the message, then at the dead elevators. No. No, no, no. She spun toward the stairwell door at the end of the hall and shoved it open. The sound echoed in the concrete shaft, 43 floors of industrial gray stretching up and down into shadow. 43 floors. She looked down at her heels. 4-inch Louboutins, black leather, sharp enough to double as weapons but wildly impractical for a marathon descent. Didn't matter. She didn't have a choice. Lena kicked them off, grabbed them by the straps, and started down. The stairs were cold under her stockinged feet, the metal edges biting through the thin nylon. Emergency lighting flickered at every landing, just enough to keep her from breaking her neck. Her breathing came fast and shallow, echoing off the walls. 1 floor, 2, 3. Her calves were already burning. This was insane. She should call Marcus, tell him she couldn't make it, reschedule. No. That's exactly what he wanted. Show up late, look unprepared, lose the room before she even opened her mouth. He'd swoop in with some polished alternative and she'd be yesterday's news. Not happening. 4 floors. 5. Her phone rang. She answered without looking. Lena Carter. "Ms. Carter, this is building security." The voice was clipped, professional. "We've got a full power outage. Main and backup generators are down. We're advising all personnel to shelter in place until... I need to get to the executive floor, now." A pause. Ma'am, the elevators are offline and the stairs aren't. I'm already in the stairwell. Another pause, longer this time. That's not advisable. The stairwells aren't climate controlled and with the emergency systems taxed. Noted, Lena said and hung up. 6 floors. 7. Sweat prickled along her hairline. Her blazer was too heavy, her blouse sticking to her back. She stopped on the landing, breathing hard, and shrugged out of the jacket. It landed in a heap on the floor. She didn't care. Keep moving. 8, 9. Her thighs were screaming now, muscles knotted and shaking. The shoes dangled uselessly from her hand. She should have ditched them, but some stubborn part of her brain insisted she'd need them when she walked into that boardroom. If she walked into that boardroom. She checked her phone. 8:53, 7 minutes. Panic flared, sharp and acidic. She wasn't going to make it. Even if she sprinted, which she couldn't, not anymore, not with her legs turning to jelly. There was no way. 10 floors down. 33 to go. Lena stopped, bracing herself against the railing. Her chest heaved. Her vision swam. This was it. 7 years, and it all ended in a goddamn stairwell because the power grid couldn't handle a thunderstorm. She wanted to scream. Instead, she heard footsteps. Not hers, someone else, coming up fast from below. Lena straightened, wiping the sweat out of her eyes. A man rounded the corner of the landing beneath her, tall, broad-shouldered, moving with an easy, efficient stride that made her exhausted scramble look pathetic by comparison. He stopped when he saw her. For a second, they just stared at each other in the dim emergency light. He was maybe 30, give or take. Dark hair, a little too long, like he'd missed a few haircuts. Work boots, canvas jacket, a tool belt slung low on his hips. His face was all angles, sharp jaw, straight nose, eyes that caught the light and reflected it back in a way that made her think of wolves. Maintenance, she realized. She'd seen him before, vaguely, in passing. One of the guys who fixed the copy machines or unclogged the sinks. The invisible people. "You okay?" he asked. His voice was low, rough around the edges, but not unkind. Lena blinked. "What?" "You look like you're about to pass out." "I'm fine." "You're 40 floors up in a blackout wearing pantyhose. You're not fine." She bristled. "I don't need—" "Where are you trying to get to?" Lena hesitated. She didn't owe this guy an explanation, but the clock was ticking and she was out of options. "Executive floor, 68. His eyebrows went up. "And this?" "I have a meeting." "Right now?" 9 o'clock. He glanced at his watch, an old analog thing with a scratched face. "It's 8:54. "I know." He looked at her for a long moment, and she couldn't read his expression. Then he nodded, once, like he'd made a decision. "All right, let's go." Lena frowned. "What?" "You're not making it on your own, but if we move, we might get you there." "You don't have to." "I know." He turned and started up the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. Lena stared after him, her brain stuttering over the sheer audacity of it. Then she followed. He was fast. Not sprinting, but moving with a kind of relentless mechanical efficiency that ate up the floors. Lena struggled to keep pace, her legs protesting every step. "What's your name?" she gasped. "Ethan." "Ethan what?" "Cole." She wanted to ask more. Why he was here, why he was helping her, what the hell he thought he was doing, but she didn't have the breath for it. 15 floors. 20. Her vision started to blur at the edges. She stumbled, catching herself on the railing. Ethan stopped. Looked back. "You good?" "Yeah," Lena lied. He didn't buy it. He came back down, stood in front of her, hands on his hips. "How bad do you need this meeting?" "Bad." "Bad enough to let me carry you?" Lena's head snapped up. "What? No, I'm not. You're running on empty, and we've got 48 floors to go. You can either let me help, or we can stand here arguing until you miss it anyway." She stared at him. His expression was calm, almost bored, like this was the most normal thing in the world. "I don't even know you. You know my name. That's more than most people in this building." It stung because it was true. She'd worked here for 7 years and couldn't name half the support staff. Lena looked at her phone. 8:56, 4 minutes. "Fine," she bit out. Ethan stepped closer, crouched slightly. "Arms around my neck." She hesitated, then dropped her shoes and looped her arms over his shoulders. He hooked one arm under her knees, the other around her back, and stood up like she weighed nothing. Jesus, Lena muttered. Hold on. And then he was moving again, faster this time, his boots ringing on the metal stairs. Lena clung to him, her cheek pressed against his shoulder. He smelled like soap and something faintly metallic, oil, maybe, or machine grease. 25 floors, 30. She could feel his heartbeat, steady and strong, even as he climbed. He wasn't even breathing hard. You do this a lot? She asked, her voice muffled against his jacket. Carry people upstairs, first time. Why are you doing this? He didn't answer right away. They hit another landing and he adjusted his grip, pulling her a little higher. You looked like you needed it, he said finally. It wasn't an answer. Or maybe it was. And she just didn't know what to do with it. 35 floors. 40. We're not going to make it, Lena said quietly. Yeah, we are. Ethan. We are. There was something in his voice. Not anger, not stubbornness, just absolute certainty. Like he'd decided it was true and reality had no choice but to comply. Lena closed her eyes and let herself believe it. The rhythm of his steps was steady, almost hypnotic. Up and up and up. She'd stopped counting floors, stopped thinking about the meeting. There was just this, the sound of his breathing, the solid warmth of his arms, the weird trust that had formed between two strangers in a dark stairwell. You military? She asked suddenly. A pause. Yeah, how'd you know? The way you move. My dad was Army. Marines, 10 years. What made you stop? Another pause, longer this time. Life happened. It wasn't an invitation to dig deeper, so she didn't. 50 floors, 55. Ethan's breathing was heavier now, but his pace didn't falter. Lena felt a stab of guilt. This guy was literally carrying her up a skyscraper, and she didn't even know if she had the right to ask. You can put me down, she said. I can walk the rest. Can you? Honestly? Probably not. Her legs felt like overcooked noodles. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I won't. How do you know? Because I said I'd get you there. And that was that. 60 floors. Lena lifted her head, looked at the number stenciled on the wall. 8 more to go. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. 63. 65. Almost there, Ethan said, and there was something in his voice, satisfaction, maybe, or just sheer determination paying off. 66, 67, and then 68. Ethan pushed through the stairwell door and they stumbled into the executive hallway. The emergency lights were brighter here, and through the glass walls of the conference room at the end of the hall, Lena could see shapes moving, shadows of people waiting. Ethan set her down gently. Her legs wobbled, but she stayed upright. Go, he said. Lena looked at him, really looked at him. His hair was damp with sweat. His face flushed, but his eyes were steady. Thank you, she said, and meant it. He nodded. Good luck. She wanted to say more, but the clock on the wall read 8:59. Lena turned and ran. She burst through the conference room doors and every head swiveled toward her. The room was lit by a handful of battery-powered lanterns casting long shadows across the table. 8 people sat around it. Board members, senior executives, Marcus at the far end with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Miss Carter, he said smoothly, we were just about to start without you. Lena straightened, ignoring the sweat on her face, the torn pantyhose, the fact that she was barefoot and probably looked like she'd been dragged through a war zone. I'm here, she said. And she was. She pulled out a chair, sat down, and opened her laptop. The battery was at 12%. It would have to be enough. Let's begin. For the next 45 minutes, Lena Carter did what she did best. She talked. She walked them through the Vanguard merger with a precision that bordered on surgical, numbers, projections, risk assessments, competitive advantages. She anticipated every objection before it was raised and dismantled it with facts. She didn't stumble, didn't hesitate. Marcus tried to interrupt twice. Both times, she steamrolled right over him. The revenue synergies alone justify the acquisition cost, she said, pulling up a chart. But the real value is in Vanguard's distribution network. They've got contracts with retailers we've been trying to crack for 3 years. This deal doesn't just expand our market share, it obliterates the competition. Catherine Hale, the board chair, leaned forward. What about integration risk? Vanguard's corporate culture is notoriously resistant to outside management. That's why we're not managing them, Lena said. We're partnering. Their leadership stays in place for the first 18 months. We provide capital and infrastructure. They provide expertise and market access. It's a collaboration, not a takeover. And if it doesn't work, then we divest. But the preliminary numbers suggest it will. Vanguard's CEO has already signaled support. This isn't hostile, it's smart. She clicked to the next slide. Her laptop battery dropped to 8%. Come on, she thought. Just hold together a little longer. Marcus cleared his throat. I think we should table this discussion until we've had more time to review. With all due respect, Marcus, we don't have time, Lena cut in. Vanguard's board meets next week. If we don't move now, someone else will. Who? Arcadia Capital. They've been circling for months. The room went quiet. Catherine's eyes narrowed. Do we have confirmation of that? I have a source inside Vanguard's finance team. Arcadia made an informal offer last Tuesday. It's not public yet, but it will be. Marcus's smile faltered. That's unverified intelligence. It's accurate intelligence, Lena said. And if we wait for verification, we'll lose the deal. Catherine sat back, fingers steepled. Ms. Carter, the board will need to discuss this privately. Lena's heart sank. That was code for we're not convinced. But then Catherine smiled, small, knowing. However, she continued, I think we've heard enough to proceed with preliminary approval. We'll reconvene Monday to finalize terms. Lena blinked. That's... Yes. Thank you. Marcus looked like he'd swallowed glass. The meeting adjourned. People filed out, murmuring to each other. Catherine paused by Lena's chair. Impressive work, Ms. Carter, especially under the circumstances. Lena glanced down at her bare feet. I don't usually show up like this. No, I imagine not. But it demonstrates commitment. That matters. Catherine's gaze sharpened. Marcus has been pushing his own agenda for weeks. I appreciate someone willing to push back. I'm just doing my job. You're doing more than that. Keep it up. She left. Lena sat alone in the darkened conference room, staring at her laptop screen. The battery died, the screen going black. She'd done it. So why did her chest feel tight? The hallway was empty when she stepped out. Ethan was gone. Lena stood there for a moment, listening to the rain still pounding outside, then walked back to the stairwell and pushed open the door. Ethan, she called. No answer. She leaned against the doorframe, exhausted. Her feet throbbed. Her legs ached. But she'd won. And somewhere in this building was a man who'd carried her up 68 floors for no reason other than she'd needed help. Lena pulled out her phone and typed a note to herself. Find Ethan Cole. Thank him properly. Then she started the long walk down. The power came back 3 hours later. By then, Lena was home. A sleek, minimalist apartment in the financial district that felt more like a hotel room than a place anyone actually lived. She'd showered, wrapped her feet in bandages, and was halfway through a bottle of wine when her phone rang. Catherine Hale. Lena answered. Ms. Hale. Ms. Carter. I wanted to let you know before the official announcement. The board has approved the Vanguard merger. Congratulations. Lena closed her eyes. Thank you. We were impressed. Not just with the proposal, but with your commitment. That kind of determination is rare. I appreciate that. We'll be in touch Monday to discuss next steps. And Ms. Carter? Yes? Welcome to the senior leadership team. Lena's breath caught. Thank you. You've earned it. Have a good weekend. The line went dead. Lena sat there in the dark, staring at the city lights outside her window. Senior VP, at 31. She'd won. So why did it feel hollow? She thought about the stairwell, about Ethan's arms around her, his voice in the dark. You looked like you needed it. When was the last time someone had helped her without wanting something in return? She couldn't remember. Lena finished her wine, crawled into bed, and fell asleep with her phone clutched in her hand. The next morning, she went back to the office. The building was buzzing, power restored, business as usual. She rode the elevator up to 43, walked into her office, and found a stack of congratulatory emails waiting. She ignored them. Instead, she pulled up the building's employee directory and searched. Ethan Cole, maintenance supervisor, level 2. That was it. No photo, no details. Lena drummed her fingers on the desk. Then she picked up the phone and called HR. This is Lena Carter. I need personnel files for an employee. Ethan Cole, maintenance. May I ask why, Ms. Carter? Personal matter. There was a pause. I'm not sure I can. I just closed a $100 million merger. I think you can bend the rules a little. Another pause, then reluctantly, I'll see what I can do. 20 minutes later, an email arrived. Lena opened it. Ethan Cole, age 32. Employed with Meridian Building Services for 6 years. Previously worked in construction before that. Military. Honorable discharge. So single. One dependent. Daughter, age 7. Lena read it twice. A daughter. She didn't know why that detail stuck with her, but it did. Single father. Military background. Working maintenance in a corporate tower. There was a story there. She wanted to know it. Lena closed the file and sat back in her chair. Most people would have left it there. Sent a thank you note, maybe a gift card. Moved on. Lena wasn't most people. She picked up the phone again. This is Lena Carter. I need to schedule a maintenance request. Personal office. Today, if possible. Of course, Ms. Carter. What's the issue? Lena glanced around her pristine office. Nothing was broken. Flickering light, she lied, above my desk. It's distracting. We'll send someone right away. Send Ethan Cole. A pause. I'm sorry? Ethan Cole, maintenance supervisor. I want him specifically. Yes, of course. I'll let him know. Lena hung up and waited. 45 minutes later, there was a knock on her door. Come in. The door opened and Ethan Cole walked in, tool bag in hand. He looked different in daylight, less like a shadowy savior, more like a regular guy. Same dark hair, same sharp features, but there was a tiredness around his eyes she hadn't noticed before. He wore the standard Meridian Building Services uniform, navy blue shirt with his name stitched on the pocket, cargo pants, work boots that had seen better days. He stopped when he saw her. Ms. Carter. Lena, she corrected. Just Lena. He nodded, cautious. Lena, got a call about a flickering light? Yeah. She gestured vaguely at the ceiling. Somewhere up there. Ethan set down his bag, pulled out a small ladder from the supply closet in the hallway, and climbed up to inspect the fixture. Lena watched him work. Methodical. Efficient. No wasted movement. After a minute, he climbed back down. Light's fine, he said. Huh. Must have been my imagination. Ethan looked at her. Really looked at her, and she saw the flicker of understanding in his eyes. Right, he said slowly. Thank you for checking. No problem. He started to pack up his tools. Lena stood, walked around the desk. Ethan, he paused. About the other night, you already thanked me. I know, but I don't think you understand what you did. He shrugged. I helped you up some stairs. You saved my career. Pretty sure you did that yourself. Lena crossed her arms. If I hadn't made that meeting, I would have lost the deal, lost the promotion, probably lost my job. You got me there. You would have made it eventually. Not in time. Ethan met her eyes. Then you're welcome. There was no false modesty in his voice, no fishing for compliments, just a simple acknowledgement. Lena liked that. Let me buy you dinner, she said. Ethan blinked. What? Dinner. To say thank you properly. He hesitated. You don't have to do that. I know. I want to. He studied her for a long moment, and she couldn't tell what he was thinking. There was something guarded in his expression, like he was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I've got my daughter tonight, he said finally. Bring her. Ethan's eyebrows went up. You sure about that? Why wouldn't I be? Most people don't want a 7-year-old crashing their thank you dinner. I'm not most people. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Yeah, I'm starting to figure that out. So is that a yes? He thought about it, then nodded. All right, dinner. Lena smiled. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I'll text you the address. I don't have your number. She grabbed a business card from her desk, scribbled her cell on the back, and handed it to him. Ethan looked at it, then slipped it into his pocket. Tomorrow at 7. See you then? He shouldered his bag and headed for the door. Ethan? He looked back. What made you help me, really? He thought about it. You looked like you were fighting for something. I respect that. Even though you didn't know what it was? Especially because I didn't know. People don't fight that hard for nothing. And then he was gone. Lena stood there, staring at the empty doorway, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Curiosity. Not about a deal or a strategy or a competitor. About a person. She pulled out her phone and added a reminder. Dinner, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Ethan plus daughter. Then she got back to work. But for the first time in a long time, the work didn't feel like enough. That night, Lena did something she hadn't done in months. She left the office at 6. She walked home through the city streets, letting the evening air clear her head. The storm had passed, leaving the pavement slick and the sky scrubbed clean. People hurried past her, commuters, tourists, couples holding hands. Lena watched them and wondered when she'd stopped being part of that world. When had work become everything? She thought about Ethan carrying her up those stairs, thought about the way he'd said, "You look like you needed it," like helping someone was the most natural thing in the world. When was the last time she'd helped someone just because they needed it? She couldn't remember. Back at her apartment, she ordered takeout and ate it standing at the kitchen counter, scrolling through emails. Old habits. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Ethan. Mia wants to know if she can bring her stuffed dinosaur to dinner. Lena smiled. Of course. What's the dinosaur's name? A pause. Then, Gerald. Lena laughed out loud. Gerald is absolutely invited. She'll be thrilled. See you tomorrow. Lena set down her phone, still smiling. Tomorrow. She was actually looking forward to it. The restaurant was a mistake. Lena realized it the moment she walked through the door. She'd chosen Marcello's, a sleek Italian place in the financial district with white tablecloths, sommeliers, and a menu that didn't list prices. The kind of place where deals got made over wine that cost more than most people's car payments. The kind of place you didn't bring a 7-year-old with a stuffed dinosaur. She stood in the doorway, second-guessing everything when she spotted them. Ethan sat at a corner table looking profoundly uncomfortable in a button-down shirt that was slightly too tight across the shoulders. Next to him was a little girl with dark hair pulled into a lopsided ponytail, clutching a green plush dinosaur that had clearly seen better days. Mia. The girl's eyes went wide when she saw Lena approaching. That's her? She whispered loudly to Ethan. Yeah, that's her. She's really pretty. Ethan's ears went red. Mia? What? She is. Lena bit back a smile. Hi. Ethan stood, almost knocking over his water glass. Hey, this is Mia. The girl beamed. And this is Gerald. She held up the dinosaur. It's nice to meet you both, Lena said, sliding into her seat. She looked at Gerald. Especially you, Gerald. I've heard a lot about you. Mia giggled. A waiter appeared, handed out menus bound in leather, and rattled off specials in rapid-fire Italian. Mia stared at him like he was speaking Martian. When he left, she leaned over to Ethan. Dad, what's a Brazino? Branzino. It's fish. Oh. She made a face. I don't like fish. Lena glanced at the menu. Everything was in Italian. Nothing resembled chicken nuggets. You know what? Lena said, closing her menu. I just realized I'm not really in the mood for Italian. You guys like burgers? Ethan's eyebrows went up. You sure? Positive. 20 minutes later, they were crammed into a booth at Eddie's Diner, a greasy spoon 2 blocks away with checkered floors and a jukebox that only played songs from the 80s. Mia had a chocolate milkshake the size of her head and was coloring on the paper placemat with crayons the waitress had brought over. Ethan looked significantly more relaxed. This is better, he said. Yeah, Lena agreed. And meant it. The food came. Burgers, fries, onion rings piled high. Mia attacked hers with the enthusiasm of someone who hadn't eaten in days. "Slow down," Ethan said. "You're gonna choke." "I'm fine," Mia mumbled around a mouthful of fries. "Chew first, then talk." She rolled her eyes, but obeyed. Lena watched them, fascinated. There was an ease between them, a rhythm. Ethan didn't hover, but he was always paying attention, making sure Mia's milkshake didn't tip over, grabbing extra napkins before she asked, cutting her burger in half without breaking conversation. "So," Lena said, "Gerald's a dinosaur. What kind?" Mia's face lit up. "A stegosaurus. He's 70 million years old." "That's very old." "I know. Dad says he's older than dirt." Ethan smirked. "I said he looks older than dirt." "Same thing." "Not even close." Lena laughed. It felt strange laughing like this. Easy. Unforced. "What about you?" Mia asked, turning to Lena. "Do you have any stuffed animals?" "Not anymore. I used to have a bear when I was your age. Mr. Buttons." "What happened to him?" "I grew up, I guess. Put him in a box somewhere." Mia looked horrified. "That's so sad." "Yeah," Lena said quietly. "It kind of is." Ethan caught her eye across the table. Something unspoken passed between them. "So what do you do?" Mia asked. "Dad says you're important." "I didn't say important," Ethan corrected. "I said she works in an office." "Same thing," Lena smiled. "I help companies make deals, buy and sell things." "Like toys?" "Sometimes, mostly boring stuff, buildings, technology, things like that." "That does sound boring." "Mia," Ethan warned. "It's okay," Lena said. "She's not wrong." Mia grinned, triumphant. Then she went back to her coloring, humming under her breath. Ethan leaned back, watching his daughter with an expression Lena couldn't quite name. Pride, maybe. Or something deeper. "She's great," Lena said. "She's a handful." "I bet." "But, yeah, she's pretty great." There was a weight behind the words, something Lena didn't fully understand but felt anyway. "How long have you been—" Lena caught herself. "Sorry, that's probably too personal. How long have I been a single dad?" "Yeah." Ethan wiped his hands on a napkin. 5 years. Her mom left when Mia was 2. Lena's chest tightened. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. It was complicated. Still is sometimes. But we're good. Right, kiddo?" Mia looked up. "Right." She went back to coloring, oblivious to the tension in Ethan's shoulders. "Must be hard," Lena said quietly, "doing it alone." "You do what you have to do." He paused. "What about you? Family?" "My parents are in Connecticut. We don't really talk much." "Why not?" Lena hesitated. Normally, she'd deflect, change the subject. But something about the way Ethan asked, no judgment, just curiosity, made her answer honestly. "They wanted me to be a lawyer. I wanted to do finance. They thought I was making a mistake. We haven't really agreed on much since." "Do you think you made a mistake?" She thought about her apartment, the empty refrigerator, the promotion that felt hollow. "I don't know," she said. Ethan nodded, like that was a perfectly acceptable answer. Mia tugged on his sleeve. "Dad, I need to go to the bathroom." "All right, come on." He slid out of the booth and Mia followed, Gerald tucked under her arm. They disappeared around the corner, leaving Lena alone with her half-eaten burger and a strange tightness in her throat. She pulled out her phone. 3 missed calls from Marcus, a dozen emails. She put it away without reading them. When Ethan and Mia came back, Mia climbed into the booth next to Lena instead of across from her. "Can I show you my drawing?" "Sure." Mia pushed the placemat over. It was a crayon rendering of 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall with dark hair, one small with a ponytail, one in the middle with yellow hair. "That's me," Mia said, pointing to the small one. "That's Dad. And that's you." Lena's throat closed up. "It's beautiful. You can keep it if you want." "Really?" "Yeah, I can make more." Lena carefully folded the placemat and slipped it into her purse. "Thank you, Mia." The girl beamed. Ethan was watching them, something soft in his expression that made Lena's stomach flip. They finished eating. Lena tried to pay, but Ethan beat her to it, sliding cash onto the table before she could argue. I invited you, she protested. And I'm buying. Next time it's on you. Next time. The words hung in the air between them. Outside, the city had settled into its nighttime rhythm. Streetlights glowed. Taxis honked. Mia walked between them, holding both their hands. Where are you parked? Lena asked. Subway, Ethan said. You took the subway? From where? Queens. Lena stopped. That's like an hour each way. Hour and 10, actually. Ethan, it's fine. We do it all the time. But Mia was yawning, dragging her feet. Lena made a decision. I'm calling you a car. You don't have to. I know. I'm doing it anyway. She pulled out her phone, opened the app, and requested a ride. 3 minutes away. Ethan looked like he wanted to argue, but didn't. When the car pulled up, Mia climbed in first, already half asleep. Ethan paused by the door. Thank you, he said, for tonight. I should be thanking you. I had fun. Yeah? Yeah. He smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Me too. Next time's on me. I mean it. I'll hold you to that. He got in the car. Mia waved sleepily through the window as they pulled away. Lena stood on the sidewalk, watching the taillights disappear into traffic. She felt different, lighter somehow. Her phone buzzed. Marcus again. She ignored it and started walking home. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm Lena didn't recognize but found herself craving. She and Ethan texted sporadically. Nothing heavy, just small things. Mia's latest drawing. A funny thing that happened at work. A picture of Gerald wearing a tiny cape Mia had made from a napkin. Lena caught herself smiling at her phone more than once. At work, things were moving fast. The Vanguard merger was progressing, but it came with a brutal schedule. Late nights, weekend calls. Marcus circling like a vulture, waiting for her to slip. She didn't, but it was exhausting. One Thursday, her assistant poked her head in. Ms. Carter, there's someone here to see you. Lena looked up from her laptop. I don't have any appointments. I know. It's maintenance? Lena's pulse kicked up. Send him in. Ethan walked in carrying a paper bag and 2 coffee cups. Hey, he said. Hey. Lena stood. What are you doing here? You've been working late all week. Thought you could use lunch. He set the bag on her desk. The smell of Italian subs filled the office. Lena stared at him. You brought me lunch. Is that weird? That's weird, isn't it? No, it's... She didn't have words. Thank you. They ate at her desk, talking about nothing important. Mia's science project, a broken elevator on the 30th floor, the weather. It was the best hour of Lena's week. When Ethan stood to leave, he paused at the door. You doing okay? He asked. You look tired. I'm fine. Lena, she sighed. It's just work, big project, lots of pressure. You need to take care of yourself. I will. I'm serious. You're no good to anyone if you burn out. Something in his tone made her look up. He wasn't lecturing, he was worried. I'll be careful, she said softly. He nodded. Good. After he left, Lena sat at her desk, staring at the empty coffee cup. No one had checked on her in years. It felt strange, and good, and terrifying. That weekend, Ethan invited her to Mia's soccer game. Lena almost said no. She had work. She always had work. But she went. The field was chaos, kids running in every direction, parents screaming from the sidelines, a referee who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Lena found Ethan standing near the halfway line, hands in his pockets. You made it, he said. I made it. Fair warning, Mia's team is not good. How not good? They've lost every game this season. Ouch. Yeah. They stood side by side, watching the game. Mia was easy to spot. Number 7, ponytail bouncing, running with more enthusiasm than skill. She's fast, Lena said. She's got no idea where the ball is half the time, but yeah, fast. Lena laughed. The game was a disaster. Mia's team lost 4-1. But when the final whistle blew, Mia ran over with the biggest smile on her face. Did you see me? She asked Lena. I did. You were amazing. We lost. So? You played hard. Mia considered this. That's what Dad always says. Your dad's smart. Ethan ruffled Mia's hair. Go grab your stuff, kiddo. We'll get ice cream. Can Lena come? Ethan glanced at her. If she wants. Lena didn't hesitate. I want. They ended up at a tiny ice cream shop with mismatched chairs and flavors like lavender honey and blackberry basil. Mia got mint chip. Ethan got vanilla. Lena got something called midnight salted caramel that tasted like heaven. This is dangerous, she said around a spoonful. Right? Mia said. We come here all the time. Not all the time, Ethan corrected. Every weekend. That's not... Okay, yeah, pretty much every weekend. They sat outside, the autumn sun warm on their faces. Mia chattered about school, about her friend Emma, who had a new puppy, about how Gerald needed a friend because he got lonely. Lena listened, soaking it in. This was what she'd been missing. Not success, not promotions. Just this. When they walked Lena back to her car, Mia hugged her. Thanks for coming, she said, her voice muffled against Lena's jacket. Thanks for inviting me. Mia pulled back. You should come to my birthday party. It's in 2 weeks. Lena looked at Ethan. He shrugged, smiling. I'd love to, Lena said. Yes. Mia punched the air. Ethan walked her to her car. Mia ran ahead, chasing a stray leaf. You don't have to come to the party, Ethan said quietly. She gets excited and invites everyone. I want to come. Yeah? Yeah. He smiled. Good. There was a moment, brief, charged, where they just looked at each other. Then Mia shouted something about a dog and the moment broke. See you soon, Ethan said. See you soon. Lena drove home with the windows down, the radio up, and a lightness in her chest she hadn't felt in years. The next week was hell. The Vanguard deal hit a snag. Their legal team found a clause in the contract that could tank the whole thing. Lena spent 3 straight days in conference rooms, on calls, barely sleeping. Marcus was in his element, subtly pushing his alternative proposal, whispering doubts to the board. By Thursday, Lena was running on fumes. She was in her office at midnight, staring at a contract that might as well have been written in hieroglyphics, when her phone buzzed. Ethan. You still at work? How did you know? Your office light's on. I'm doing overnight maintenance on the 42nd floor. Lena looked out her window. Across the way, she could see a figure moving in the darkened building. You can see me? Yeah, you look miserable. She laughed despite herself. I am miserable. Take a break. Come down to 42. Lena hesitated. She should keep working. She should... Screw it. She grabbed her jacket and took the elevator down. The 42nd floor was empty except for Ethan, who was sitting on a stepladder eating a sandwich. You brought me down here to watch you eat? Lena asked. I brought you down here to take a break. He pulled a second sandwich out of his bag. And to eat. You just carry extra sandwiches around? Mia made them. She always makes too much. Lena took the sandwich, turkey and cheese. Simple. Perfect. They ate in silence for a while, sitting on the floor with their backs against the wall. Want to talk about it? Ethan asked. Not really. Fair enough. They sat there, not talking, and somehow it helped. After a while, Lena spoke. I'm good at this. My job. I'm really good at it. I believe you. But lately I don't know. It doesn't feel like enough. Ethan nodded. I get that. Do you? Yeah. I was good at being a Marine, really good. But after a while it stopped being about the mission and started being about just surviving. That's when I knew I had to leave. Do you regret it? Leaving? No. I got Mia out of it. Best thing that ever happened to me. Even though it's hard? Especially because it's hard. Easy things don't mean much. Lena turned that over in her mind. What if I'm not good at the hard things? She asked quietly. You climbed 68 floors in a blackout to save your career. You're good at hard things. That was adrenaline. That was guts. Lena looked at him. He looked back, steady and sure. Thank you, she said. For what? For this? For... She gestured vaguely. I don't know. Being here. Anytime. They finished their sandwiches. Ethan walked her back to the elevator. Get some sleep, he said. You too. I'm on till 6. That's brutal. That's overtime, he grinned. Mia wants a new bike. The elevator doors started to close. Ethan stopped them with his hand. Hey, Lena. Yeah? You're going to be fine. Whatever's going on up there, you'll figure it out. The doors closed before she could respond, but she believed him. The next day, Lena figured it out. She found a loophole in the loophole, restructured the terms, and got Vanguard's legal team to sign off. By Friday afternoon, the deal was back on track. Marcus looked like he'd swallowed glass. Catherine called her into her office. "Impressive work, Ms. Carter. Thank you. I'm hearing concerns from some board members about your methods." Lena's stomach dropped. "My methods are sound. I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning whether you're making enemies you don't need. Marcus is a problem, but he's not the only one watching you. You're young, you're ambitious, and you're very good at what you do. That makes people nervous." "So what do I do?" Catherine smiled. "You keep doing what you're doing, but you learn to play the game a little better. Politics matter, whether we like it or not." Lena nodded, even though it left a sour taste in her mouth. "One more thing," Catherine said. "I'm promoting you to lead the integration team for Vanguard. It's a 2-year project. High visibility, high stakes." Lena's breath caught. "That's a lot of pressure, I know. Can you handle it?" "Yes." "Good. We'll make the announcement Monday." Lena walked out of the office in a daze. She'd done it. Again. So why did it feel like she was losing something? That night, she went to Mia's birthday party. It was held in Ethan's apartment, a small 2-bedroom in Queens with worn furniture and drawings covering every available surface. There were balloons, streamers, and about 15 screaming children running wild. Lena felt completely out of place and somehow exactly where she needed to be. Mia spotted her immediately and ran over. "You came!" "Of course I came." "Do you want to play pin the tail on the donkey?" "Absolutely." Ethan appeared, looking frazzled. "Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for inviting me. Fair warning, it's chaos." "I can see that." A kid ran past, wielding a foam sword. Another followed, screaming. Ethan sighed. "I'm too old for this." "You're 32. Like I said, too old." Lena laughed. The party was chaotic and loud and messy and perfect. Lena helped serve cake, judged a dance-off, and got roped into a game of musical chairs that she lost spectacularly. When the parents came to pick up their kids, the apartment slowly emptied until it was just Lena, Ethan, and an exhausted Mia surrounded by wrapping paper and half-eaten cake. "Best birthday ever," Mia declared, then promptly fell asleep on the couch. Ethan covered her with a blanket. "Out like a light." "She had fun." "Yeah." He looked around at the mess. "This is going to take forever to clean up." "I'll help." "You don't have to." "I know." They worked in comfortable silence, picking up plates and cups, tying up trash bags. Lena found herself studying the apartment, the crayon drawings on the fridge, the stack of library books on the coffee table, the photo of Ethan and Mia at the beach taped to the wall. It was small, cluttered, lived in. It was a home. "Can I ask you something?" Lena said. "Sure." "Do you ever regret it? Giving up the military, doing this alone?" Ethan paused, holding a trash bag. "No, it's hard, but it's mine. I'm building something. For her. That matters." "What about for you?" He smiled. "She is for me." Lena didn't know what to say to that. They finished cleaning. Ethan walked her to the door. "Thanks for coming," he said. "It meant a lot to both of us." "I'm glad I came." There was that moment again, charged, hanging. "Lena." Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. "Work, of course." "I should go," she said, hating herself a little. "Yeah, of course." She wanted to stay. She wanted to ignore the phone and sit on that worn couch and just be. But she didn't. "I'll see you soon," she said. "Soon," he echoed. She left, and the whole drive home, she felt like she'd made the wrong choice. "You said Kiem tra so to part hai, Kiem tra so to part hai 9 giờ 16 phút," Claude responded. "Đang kiểm tra số từ part 2. Đang kiểm tra số từ part 2. Part 2 hiện tại có khoảng 4.100 từ. Thiếu khoảng 1.900 đến 2.400 từ so với yêu cầu 6.000 đến 6.500 từ. Tôi sẽ viết tiếp để bổ sung đủ số từ ngay bây giờ, please." Say I asunay paha. Tiptok part 2. Monday morning came with the announcement. Lena was officially named lead of the Vanguard integration team. Her inbox exploded with congratulations, most of them hollow. Marcus sent nothing. She sat in her office staring at the email from Catherine and felt nothing. Her assistant knocked. "Ms. Carter, the integration team wants to schedule a kickoff meeting." "When?" "This afternoon, 3 o'clock. Lena glanced at her calendar. It was already packed. "Fine. Make it happen." The meeting ran 2 hours. 12 people around a table, all looking at her for answers. She gave them what they needed: timelines, responsibilities, benchmarks. But the whole time, part of her brain was somewhere else. Queens, a small apartment, a little girl who'd fallen asleep surrounded by birthday wrapping paper. She shook it off. Focus. By the time she got home that night, it was past 10. Her apartment felt emptier than usual. She ordered takeout she didn't eat and opened her laptop to work. Her phone buzzed. "Ethan, Mia wanted me to send you this." A photo loaded. Mia's latest drawing, 3 stick figures again. This time they were at a birthday party surrounded by balloons. Lena smiled despite her exhaustion. "Tell her I love it." "Will do. How was your day?" "Long." "Yours?" "Fixed 3 toilets and a broken elevator. Living the dream." "Glamorous." "You know it." A pause. Then, "You okay? You seem off." Lena stared at the message. How did he know? They'd only texted a handful of words. "Just tired." "Liar." She laughed out loud. "Fine. Work stuff, big promotion. Should be happy. Am not." "Want to talk about it?" "Not really." "Want to not talk about it over coffee tomorrow?" Lena hesitated. She had 3 meetings tomorrow. A conference call with Vanguard's team, a presentation to prep. "Yes. Eddie's Diner, 7 a.m.? I'll be there." She closed her laptop without finishing her work. For the first time in her career, something else felt more important. The next morning, Lena walked into Eddie's at 7 sharp. Ethan was already there, 2 coffees on the table. "You're punctual," he said. "You're earlier." "Couldn't sleep." "Me neither." They sat across from each other in the same booth where they'd had dinner with Mia. The diner was quiet this early, just a handful of construction workers and a guy reading a newspaper at the counter. "So," Ethan said. "Big promotion." "Yeah." "Congratulations." "Thanks." He waited. Lena sighed. "It's everything I wanted. 2 years ago, I would have killed for this opportunity. But now I'm wondering if I actually want it." "Why?" She wrapped her hands around the coffee cup. "Because it means more of the same. More late nights, more politics, more emptiness." "Emptiness?" "I go home to an apartment that doesn't feel like home. I work with people I don't like. I close deals that don't matter." She looked up. "And I'm really good at it. That's the worst part. I'm good at something I'm not sure I even care about anymore." Ethan nodded slowly. "What do you care about?" The question caught her off guard. "I don't know," she admitted. "Bullshit." She blinked. "Excuse me?" "You know, you're just scared to say it." Lena bristled. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I?" He leaned forward. "You came to a 7-year-old's birthday party. You helped clean up. You ate cake and played musical chairs, and you smiled the whole time. You didn't check your phone once." "So?" "So that's not someone who doesn't know what she cares about. That's someone who's finally figuring it out, and it's scaring the hell out of her." Lena stared at him, heart pounding. "I barely know you," she said. "Yeah, you do." And the terrible thing was, he was right. She did know him. In some fundamental way that didn't make sense. She knew him better than people she'd worked with for years. "What am I supposed to do?" she asked quietly. "Walk away from my career, everything I've built?" "I'm not saying that." "Then what are you saying?" "I'm saying maybe you don't have to choose. Maybe you can have both." "How?" "I don't know, but I know you're smart enough to figure it out if you stop being scared." Lena looked away, blinking hard. Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. "Hey," he said softly. "It's okay to want more than one thing." "Is it?" "Yeah, it is." His hand was warm and rough and solid. Lena held on tighter than she meant to. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "Do what?" "Any of it. Balance, normal life, people who actually care." "Nobody does. You just figure it out as you go." "That's terrifying." Yeah, but you're not doing it alone. She looked up at him. His eyes were steady, certain. I'm not? No. Something shifted in her chest. Ethan. Her phone rang. They both looked at it on the table. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. Lena let it ring. You can get that, Ethan said. I don't want to. Lena, I don't want to, she repeated, more firmly. The phone stopped ringing. Ethan smiled. There you go. They sat there, hands still linked across the table until their coffee went cold. The next few weeks, something changed. Lena started leaving work at 7, then 6:30, then 6. She had dinner with Ethan and Mia twice a week. Nothing fancy. Takeout pizza, homemade pasta that Mia insisted on helping with and turned into a flour-covered disaster. Movies on the couch with Mia wedged between them, Gerald in her lap. Lena learned that Mia hated broccoli but loved Brussels sprouts, that Ethan could cook exactly 3 meals and rotated them religiously, that their neighbor, Mrs. Chen, brought them dumplings every Sunday. She learned what a home felt like. At work, people noticed. You're leaving early? Her assistant commented one Thursday. I have plans. Again? Lena smiled. Again. Marcus cornered her in the hallway. We need to talk about your commitment level. My commitment is fine. You used to be the first one in and the last one out. I'm still getting my work done. Barely. Lena turned to face him fully. My team is ahead of schedule. Vanguard integration is on track. What exactly is the problem, Marcus? He smiled, sharp. Just making sure you're not losing focus. I'm not. But she was. Sort of. Her focus was just wider now. Catherine called her in 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. The board is pleased with your progress on Vanguard. Thank you. But there are concerns about your availability. Lena's stomach tightened. I'm available. You've declined 3 dinner meetings with potential clients. You left the office at 6 last Tuesday when we had executives visiting from Tokyo. I had a prior commitment. What commitment could be more important than a personal one? Lena said firmly. And with respect, my personal life is personal. Catherine's eyebrows rose. Ms. Carter, I'm delivering results. The integration is ahead of schedule. Client satisfaction is up. My team's morale is the highest in the department. Lena leaned forward. I'm doing my job. Better than before, actually. If the board has a problem with me having a life outside this office, that's their issue, not mine. Silence. Then Catherine smiled. You've got spine. Good. You'll need it. Lena blinked. So, I'm not in trouble? You're fine, but watch yourself. Some people here don't like change, and you're changing. Is that bad? That depends. Are you happier? Lena thought about it, about Mia's laugh, about Ethan's hand on hers, about dinners that didn't come from a delivery app. Yeah, she said. I am. Then keep doing what you're doing. Just be smart about it. Thanksgiving came. Lena had planned to work through it. She always did. But Ethan invited her to dinner. Nothing fancy, he said. Just us and Mrs. Chen from next door. Mia's making place cards. I don't want to intrude. You're not. We want you there. Ethan, please. She couldn't say no to that. Thanksgiving dinner was chaos. Mia dropped the cranberry sauce. Mrs. Chen brought enough dumplings to feed an army. Ethan's turkey was dry, but no one cared because the mashed potatoes were perfect, and the pie was store-bought and delicious. They went around the table saying what they were thankful for. Mrs. Chen was thankful for her health. Mia was thankful for Gerald and her new bike and that her team won a soccer game last week. Ethan was thankful for his family. He looked at Lena when he said it. Lena? Mia prompted. Lena swallowed hard. I'm thankful for you guys, for letting me be part of this. Mia beamed. You're always part of this. After dinner, after Mrs. Chen went home and Mia fell asleep on the couch, Lena helped Ethan clean up. Thank you for inviting me, she said. Thank you for coming. I mean it. This is the best Thanksgiving I've had in years. Ethan dried a plate. What do you usually do? Work? On Thanksgiving? Markets don't close for holidays in some countries. He shook his head. That's bleak. Yeah, it is. They worked in comfortable silence. Lena washed. Ethan dried. It felt domestic, normal. It felt right. Ethan? Yeah? I think I'm falling for you. The plate slipped from his hands. He caught it before it hit the floor. What? Lena's heart hammered. She'd said it. No taking it back now. I think I'm falling for you, she repeated. Actually, I know I am. And I know this is complicated because of Mia, and because I'm a mess, and because I don't know how to do this, but… He kissed her, just stepped forward and kissed her, one hand cupping her face, gentle and sure. When he pulled back, Lena's brain had short-circuited. I've wanted to do that for weeks, he said. Why didn't you? Didn't know if you wanted me to. I did. I do. He smiled. Good. They stood there in his tiny kitchen, foreheads touching, and Lena felt something slot into place. This was what had been missing. What do we do now? She whispered. I don't know. Figure it out as we go? She laughed. That's terrifying. Yeah, but we're not doing it alone. Lena kissed him again, and this time she didn't pull away. The first time Lena stayed over, it wasn't planned. They'd been watching a movie, some animated thing Mia had picked that involved talking animals and a quest for a magic crystal. Mia had fallen asleep 20 minutes in, curled against Lena's side with Gerald clutched in her arms. Ethan had carried her to bed, and when he came back, Lena was still on the couch, staring at the TV without really seeing it. You okay? He asked. Yeah, just thinking. About? She turned to look at him. How fast this is moving. Ethan sat down next to her, not too close, giving her space. Too fast? I don't know, maybe. She paused. Is that bad? No. It's honest. Lena pulled her knees up to her chest. I've never done this before. Dated someone? Dated someone with a kid. Dated someone who actually matters. Ethan was quiet for a moment. I matter? Yeah, you do. Both of you. She looked at him. That scares me. It scares me, too. Really? Yeah, Mia gets attached to people. If this doesn't work out, it's not just me who gets hurt. The weight of that settled between them. I don't want to hurt her, Lena said quietly. I know. But that's the risk, right? Caring about people. It could go wrong, or it could go really right. What if I'm not good at this? At what? Being part of someone's life. Being enough. Ethan shifted closer, took her hand. You're already part of our life, and you're more than enough. Lena's throat tightened. How do you know? Because Mia asks about you every day. Because she saves her drawings for you. Because she told Mrs. Chen you're her friend, and Mrs. Chen hasn't stopped asking when you're coming back. He squeezed her hand. And because I can't stop thinking about you. Ethan, stay, he said. Tonight. Just sleep. No pressure. I don't want you to leave. Lena should have said no. She had work tomorrow. An early meeting. A presentation to finish. Okay, she whispered. She stayed. Ethan gave her a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants that were comically too big. She washed her face with hand soap and borrowed a toothbrush still in its package. I keep extras for Mia's sleepovers, Ethan explained. Do I count as a sleepover? He grinned. Yeah, but you get the good guest towels. There are good guest towels. No, but it sounded nice. She laughed, and it felt easy. They ended up in his room, small, plain, with a bed that creaked when she sat on it. Ethan took the left side, Lena took the right. They lay there in the dark, not touching, both staring at the ceiling. This is weird, Lena said. Yeah. Good weird or bad weird? Good weird. She smiled. Yeah, good weird. After a while, Ethan's breathing evened out. Lena turned her head and looked at him, face relaxed, one arm thrown above his head. He looked younger when he slept. She didn't remember falling asleep, but she must have, because the next thing she knew, sunlight was streaming through the window and something small was bouncing on the bed. Lena, wake up! Dad made pancakes! Lena blinked. Mia's face swam into focus, inches from hers. Pancakes? Lena croaked. With chocolate chips. Mia, let her breathe, Ethan called from the doorway, holding a spatula. Mia bounced off the bed. Come on, they're going to get cold. She ran out. Lena sat up, hair a mess, still wearing Ethan's too big clothes. "Morning," Ethan said. "Morning. Sleep okay?" "Better than I have in months." He smiled. "Good. Now come eat before Mia devours everything." Breakfast was chaos. Mia talked nonstop about a project at school, about how Emma's puppy ate a shoe, about how Gerald wanted pancakes too, but dinosaurs can't eat people food. Lena sat at the table, syrup sticky and exhausted and happier than she'd been in years. This was what normal people did. Had breakfast together, argued about whether dinosaurs could eat pancakes, laughed over nothing. She'd been missing this her whole life. When she finally left, late, scrambling, already mentally composing apologies for missing her morning meeting, Ethan walked her to the door. "Thanks for staying," he said. "Thanks for asking. Do it again sometime." "Yeah, I'd like that." He kissed her, quick and sweet, and Lena floated all the way to the subway. Work was a different story. She walked into the office 45 minutes late, still wearing yesterday's clothes, hair pulled into a messy bun. Her assistant's eyes went wide. "Miss Carter, I know, I'm late. Reschedule the morning meeting." "I already did, but Marcus was looking for you." Of course he was. Lena found him in the break room, pouring coffee with the smug expression of someone who'd just won a hand of poker. "Rough night?" he asked. "Something like that. Catherine wanted to see you. I told her you'd be in soon." He took a sip of coffee. "Eventually." Lena ignored the bait. "Thanks, Marcus." She went straight to Catherine's office. Catherine looked up from her laptop. "Ms. Carter, good of you to join us." "I apologize for being late." "Do you?" Catherine's tone was sharp. "Because this is the third time this month. It won't happen again." "That's what you said last time." Catherine closed her laptop. "Sit down." Lena sat. "I'm going to be blunt," Catherine said. "You're one of the most talented people in this company. The Vanguard integration is exceeding expectations. Your team respects you. The board trusts you." "Thank you." "But," Catherine continued, "you're also developing a reputation." Lena's stomach sank. "What kind of reputation?" "Distracted. Unreliable. There's talk that you're not as committed as you used to be." "That's not true." "Isn't it? You leave at 6. You decline client dinners. You show up late wearing yesterday's clothes." Catherine leaned back. "What's going on, Lena?" For a moment, Lena considered lying, making up an excuse, smoothing it over. But she was tired of lying. "I'm trying to have a life outside of work," she said. "That's admirable, but not at the expense of your career." "It's not—" "It is," Catherine interrupted. "Maybe not yet, but it will be if you're not careful. This industry doesn't forgive distraction. You know that." Lena did know that. She'd built her career on being relentless, single-minded, willing to sacrifice everything for the job, but she didn't want to be that person anymore. "What do you want me to do?" she asked. "I want you to decide what you actually want, because right now you're trying to do everything, and you're going to end up failing at all of it." The words hit like a slap. Catherine's expression softened slightly. "I'm not saying you can't have balance. I'm saying you need to figure out what balance looks like for you. And you need to do it fast before the board makes the decision for you." Lena nodded, numb. "You're dismissed." She walked back to her office in a daze. Her assistant was waiting. "Ms. Carter, you have a call with Vanguard's CFO in 10 minutes. Reschedule it." "But—" "Reschedule it," Lena repeated. "I need an hour." She closed her office door, sat at her desk, and put her head in her hands. Catherine was right. She was trying to do everything and succeeding at nothing. At work, she was distracted, always thinking about Ethan and Mia. At Ethan's, she was checking her phone, answering emails, half present. She was failing everyone, including herself. Her phone buzzed. "Ethan. Mia wants to know if you're coming to her school concert next week." Lena stared at the message. She had a client dinner that night. Important. High stakes. She typed back, "What day?" "Thursday, 7 p.m. The same night as the dinner. Lena closed her eyes. "I'll be there." She'd figure out the rest later. The next few days were brutal. Lena threw herself into work, trying to prove Catherine wrong. She stayed late, took every meeting, answered every email within minutes, but it felt hollow. She barely saw Ethan. A quick coffee here, a late-night phone call there. He didn't complain, but she could hear the distance creeping into his voice. "You okay?" he asked one night. "Just busy." "Lena?" "I'm fine, Ethan. Really." She wasn't fine. Thursday came too fast. Lena prepped for the client dinner all day, rehearsing talking points, reviewing contracts. At 5 o'clock, she changed into the outfit she'd picked out, a sleek black dress, heels, the armor of corporate success. Her phone rang. "Ethan." "Hey," she answered. "I'm leaving soon. I'll meet you at the school." Silence. "Ethan?" "Lena, what time does the concert start?" 7. "Why?" "It's 5:30. The concert's at 7. You're not going to make it." Her stomach dropped. "What are you talking about? I'm leaving now." "You told me you had a work thing. I assumed you'd skip it." "No, I said I'd be there." "You can't be in two places at once." Lena's heart raced. "I'll make it work." "How?" "I don't know. I'll leave the dinner early or—" "Lena." His voice was quiet. "Don't do this." "Do what?" "Make promises you can't keep." "I can keep it. I'll be there." Another silence. Then, "Okay, we'll see you there." He hung up. Lena stood in her office, phone in hand, panic rising in her chest. She could do this. She could do both. The client dinner was at a restaurant 10 blocks from Mia's school. She'd show up, make an appearance, then slip out early. Easy. Except it wasn't easy. She got to the restaurant at 6:15. The clients were already there. 3 executives from a tech firm looking to partner with Vanguard. Marcus was there too, playing host, all smiles and firm handshakes. "Lena," he said warmly, "glad you could make it." She forced a smile. "Wouldn't miss it." They ordered drinks, appetizers. The conversation meandered, small talk about the market, the weather, sports teams Lena didn't follow. She checked her watch. 6:30. "So," one of the executives said, "tell us about the integration timeline." Lena launched into her pitch, keeping it tight, efficient. She could wrap this up by 7, make it to the school with minutes to spare. But then Marcus interrupted. "Actually, I think we should discuss the risk mitigation strategy in more detail." Lena shot him a look. "We can cover that in a follow-up." "I think our guests would appreciate hearing it now." The clients nodded. "We would, actually." Lena's jaw tightened. Marcus was doing this on purpose. She glanced at her watch again. 6:40. "Of course," she said. She talked through the risk strategy, each minute ticking by like a countdown. The clients asked questions. Marcus added commentary. The food arrived. 6:55. Lena's phone buzzed in her purse. She ignored it. 7 o'clock. "I'm sorry," Lena said, standing abruptly. "I have to go." The clients blinked. "Now?" "Yes. I apologize, but I have a prior commitment." Marcus's smile sharpened. "Lena, we're in the middle of—" "Marcus can handle the rest. He knows the material as well as I do." She grabbed her coat and walked out, ignoring Marcus calling after her. Outside, she ran, 3 blocks in heels, 4, her feet screaming, lungs burning. She made it to the school at 7:15. The lobby was empty. Through the auditorium doors, she could hear music, children's voices singing something vaguely festive. Lena slipped inside. The auditorium was packed. She scanned the rows, looking for Ethan. There, halfway back. Aisle seat. She hurried down the row, squeezing past annoyed parents. Ethan saw her coming. His expression was unreadable. "I'm sorry," she whispered, dropping into the seat next to him. "I'm so sorry. The dinner ran late and you missed it," he said quietly. "What?" "Mia's class went first. She sang her solo 10 minutes ago." Lena's heart stopped. No, She kept looking for you in the audience." "Ethan, I told her you got stuck at work. She said it was okay, but she cried in the bathroom after." Lena felt like she'd been punched. On stage, another class was singing. Parents clapped. Children waved. Lena sat frozen, the world narrowing to a single point of pain. She'd missed it. She'd promised Mia she'd be there, and she'd missed it. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. Ethan didn't respond. They sat through the rest of the concert in silence. When it ended, parents flooded the aisles collecting their kids. Mia came running out, ponytail bouncing. When she saw Lena, her face lit up. "You came!" Lena's throat closed. Hey, kiddo. Did you hear me sing? Lena opened her mouth, closed it. Ethan stepped in. She got here as fast as she could. Mia's smile faltered. Oh, so you missed it. I'm so sorry, Mia. It's okay. But her voice was small. No, it's not okay. I promised I'd be here, and I wasn't. Mia shrugged, looking at the floor. You had work, Dad said. That's not an excuse. Ethan put a hand on Mia's shoulder. Come on, let's go home. They walked to the subway in silence. Mia held Ethan's hand, Gerald tucked under her other arm. She didn't reach for Lena. At the apartment, Mia went straight to her room without saying goodnight. Lena stood in the living room, feeling like an intruder. I should go, she said. Yeah, Ethan said. Probably. Ethan, I'm sorry. I tried. I know you tried, but you didn't make it. The clients. There's always going to be clients, Lena. Always going to be something more important. That's not fair, isn't it? He turned to face her. You said you'd be there. Mia believed you. I believed you. I wanted to be there. Wanting isn't enough. The words hung between them. Lena felt tears prick her eyes. What do you want me to do? Quit my job? Throw away everything I've worked for? No, I want you to figure out what actually matters to you, because right now I don't think you know. That's not true. Then prove it. How? Ethan ran a hand through his hair. I don't know, but I can't keep doing this. Mia can't keep doing this. We can't be the thing you fit in when work allows. You're not. We are. And I get it. Your career is important. But so is she. So am I. And if you can't prioritize us, even sometimes, then this isn't going to work. Lena's chest felt like it was caving in. Are you breaking up with me? I'm asking you to think about what you really want. Because I need to know if we're building something, or if we're just killing time until your job gets in the way again. Ethan, go home, Lena. Think about it. Really think about it. She wanted to argue, to fight, to promise she'd do better. But the look on his face stopped her. She left. The subway ride back to her apartment was a blur. Lena sat in the corner of the car, staring at nothing, replaying the night in her head. Mia's face when she realized Lena had missed her solo. Ethan's voice. Wanting isn't enough. She'd screwed up. Badly. Back at her apartment, Lena changed out of her dress and sat on the couch in the dark. Her phone buzzed. Work emails. 23 of them. She ignored them all. For the first time in her career, she didn't care. The next morning, Lena called in sick. She never called in sick. Her assistant sounded confused. Are you okay, Miss Carter? I'm fine. Just need a day. She hung up before the questions started. She spent the morning in her apartment, staring at the walls. Around noon, she pulled out her laptop and opened her calendar. The next 3 months were packed. Meetings, calls, client dinners, presentations, every day scheduled down to the minute. When had this become her life? She scrolled back. A year ago. 2 years. 5. It had always been like this. And she'd been okay with it. More than okay. She'd thrived. But now, looking at it, all she felt was exhausted. Her phone rang. Catherine. Lena answered. Hi. You called in sick. Catherine didn't sound pleased. I needed a day. You missed the follow-up with the tech firm. Marcus had to cover. I'm sure he managed. Lena, what's going on? I don't know, Lena said honestly. I'm trying to figure that out. Figure it out fast. The board is watching. I know, Catherine sighed. I meant what I said. You're talented. Don't throw it away. I'm not throwing anything away. Then what are you doing? Lena closed her eyes. I'm trying to figure out what I actually want. And have you? Not yet. Well, you better hurry, because the world doesn't wait for people who can't decide. The line went dead. Lena sat there, phone in hand, feeling the weight of it all pressing down. She thought about Ethan, about Mia, about the life they were offering her, messy, complicated, real. And she thought about her career, the promotions, the respect, the success she'd fought so hard for. She couldn't have both. Catherine was right about that. So which one mattered more? That night, Lena did something she hadn't done in years. She went for a walk. No destination, no plan. Just walked. The city was alive around her, people heading to dinner, to shows, to each other. Couples holding hands, families laughing, life happening in real time. Lena had spent so long climbing, she'd forgotten to look around. She ended up at a park, sat on a bench, watched kids on the playground, their parents standing guard. One little girl, maybe 6, maybe 7, was trying to cross the monkey bars. She made it halfway before her grip slipped. She fell. Her dad was there in a second, scooping her up. "You okay?" The girl nodded, sniffling. "I almost made it." "You did great, but I fell." "So you'll try again tomorrow?" The girl thought about it, then smiled. "Okay." They walked off together, hand in hand. Lena watched them go, something tight in her chest loosening. She pulled out her phone and texted Ethan. "Can we talk?" It took 5 minutes for him to respond. "Yeah, when?" "Tomorrow, after you get off work?" "Okay. My place?" "I'll be there." She sat on that bench for another hour, watching the sky darken, the streetlights flicker on, and for the first time in weeks, she felt like she could breathe. The next evening, Lena showed up at Ethan's apartment at 6:30. He opened the door, looking tired. "Hey," he said. "Hey, Mia's at a friend's house. Won't be back until 8. "Good. We need to talk, just us." They sat on the couch. The TV was off. The apartment was quiet. Ethan spoke first. "You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't. Not much." "Me neither." Lena twisted her hands together. "I've been thinking about what you said, about figuring out what I want." And you're right. I've been trying to do everything and failing at all of it." She looked at him. "I don't want to fail at this. At us. Neither do I. But I don't know how to make it work. My job is insane. The hours, the pressure, it doesn't leave room for much else. So change it. It's not that simple." "Why not?" "Because I've spent my whole life building this career. If I walk away, what do I have?" Ethan's expression softened. "You have yourself. That's not nothing. It feels like nothing." "That's because you've tied your whole identity to your job. But you're more than that, Lena. You're funny and smart and kind. You're good with Mia. You make me laugh. You're a person, not just a position." Lena's eyes burned. "I don't know how to be just a person." "Then learn, with us." "What if I'm not good at it?" "You will be. You just have to try." She wiped at her eyes. "I missed Mia's concert." "I know." "She looked so sad." "She was. But she'll forgive you. Kids are resilient like that." "I don't deserve forgiveness." "Maybe not. But she'll give it to you anyway. That's what people do when they care about you." Lena broke then, full, ugly crying. Ethan pulled her against his chest and let her sob. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Of what?" "Of giving up everything and it not being enough. Of choosing you and Mia and still screwing it up." "You might screw it up. Probably will, sometimes. I screw up all the time." "Really?" "Yeah. Last week I forgot to sign Mia's permission slip and she missed the field trip. She was pissed." Lena laughed through her tears. "That's different." "Is it? We all mess up. The question is whether you care enough to keep trying." "I do care." "Then that's enough." "Is it? For me?" "Yeah." She pulled back, looking at him. "What about Mia?" "Mia adores you. One missed concert isn't going to change that. But you do have to show up. Not perfectly. Just consistently." Lena nodded. "I can do that." "Can you?" "Yes. I'm going to make changes at work, figure out how to have balance. It won't be perfect, but nothing's perfect. But it can be good, if we both try." "Okay." "Okay?" "Yeah, let's try." Ethan kissed her, soft and sure, and Lena kissed him back. When they broke apart, he smiled. "So we're doing this?" "We're doing this." "Good, because Mia's going to be thrilled." "You think?" "I know." They sat there, foreheads touching, and Lena felt the pieces of her life starting to realign. Not perfectly, not easily, but honestly. And that was enough. When Mia came home that night, Lena was still there. The door swung open and Mia froze, backpack sliding off one shoulder. "Lena?" "Hey, kiddo." Mia looked at her dad, then back at Lena. "Are you staying? If that's okay with you." Mia dropped her backpack and ran across the room, throwing her arms around Lena's waist. I'm sorry I was mad. Lena hugged her back, throat tight. You weren't mad. You were hurt. And you had every right to be. Dad said you had important work stuff. I did. But that doesn't make it okay that I missed your concert. You're important too. More important. Mia pulled back, looking up at her with those serious dark eyes. Really? Really? And I'm going to do better, I promise. Okay. Mia thought about it. Can you stay for movie night? Lena glanced at Ethan. He was smiling. Yeah, Lena said, I can stay. They watched some movie about a girl who found a magic door. Mia fell asleep halfway through, sprawled across both of them. Gerald had tumbled to the floor. She's out, Ethan whispered. Yeah. You want to move her? Not yet. They sat there, Mia breathing softly between them, and Lena felt something settle deep in her chest. This was what she'd been missing. Not the big moments, the small ones, the quiet ones, the real ones. The next morning, Lena went into work with a plan. She'd spent half the night awake staring at Ethan's ceiling, thinking. By the time the sun came up, she knew what she had to do. She walked straight to Catherine's office. Catherine looked up, surprised. Ms. Carter, I didn't expect you in today. I need to talk to you about my role. Catherine's expression sharpened. Sit. Lena sat. I've been thinking about what you said, about deciding what I want. And I want to stay. I want to lead the Vanguard integration. But I need different terms. What kind of terms? Lena took a breath. I need boundaries. No more than 50 hours a week. No client dinners after 7. No weekend work unless it's an actual emergency. Catherine's eyebrows rose. You're negotiating work-life balance. Yes. That's not how this industry works. Then maybe the industry needs to change. And if I say no? Lena met her eyes. Then I walk. The silence stretched. Catherine leaned back in her chair, studying her. You're serious? Completely. You'd really walk away from this? From everything you've built? If I have to choose between this job and having a life, yes. Catherine was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled. Good. Lena blinked. What? I said good. You've finally grown a spine about something other than deals. I don't understand. You think you're the first person to ask for balance? You're not. But you might be the first one I actually believe. Catherine pulled out a notepad. Here's what I can do. 50 hours is pushing it, but I can get you to 55 with flex time. Client dinners, you pick which ones matter, delegate the rest. Weekends are yours unless there's a genuine crisis. Lena stared. You're agreeing. I'm agreeing to try, but you need to hold up your end. Results still matter. You miss deadlines, you lose clients. This deal is off. I won't. We'll see. Catherine made a note. I'll draft the revised terms and send them to you by end of day. Anything else? No. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You're still going to work your ass off. Just slightly fewer hours. Catherine looked up. And Lena, whatever's happening in your personal life, whoever you're doing this for, make sure it's worth it. It is? Good. Now get out. I have actual work to do. Lena walked out of the office feeling lighter than she had in months. She texted Ethan. I did it. Did what? Made changes. I'll tell you tonight. Proud of you. 3 words, but they meant everything. The rest of the day was a blur of meetings and emails, but Lena left at 6:30, exactly when she said she would. Marcus caught her at the elevator. Leaving early again? His tone was sharp. Leaving on time, Lena corrected. Catherine approved your little arrangement. She did. You know it won't last. You can't have it both ways. Something's going to give. Maybe, but it won't be today. She stepped into the elevator. Have a good night, Marcus. His face darkened, but the doors closed before he could respond. Lena exhaled. That felt good. Over the next few weeks, she learned what balance actually looked like. It wasn't perfect. There were days she had to stay late, days she missed dinner, but she made it to Mia's next soccer game, showed up for a school assembly where Mia got an award for a book report, had breakfast with them 3 times a week. Ethan cooked. Lena did dishes. Mia narrated every moment of her day in excruciating detail, and Lena soaked up every word. At work, the Vanguard integration progressed smoothly. Lena's team adapted to her new schedule. Most of them seemed relieved. If the boss could leave at a reasonable hour, maybe they could too. Marcus, predictably, was a problem. He started showing up at meetings Lena wasn't invited to, positioning himself as the alternative, whispering to board members that Lena wasn't as committed as she used to be. Catherine warned her. "He's making moves. Let him." "You're not worried?" "I'm delivering results. That's what matters." "Results aren't everything. Politics matter too." "I know, but I'm not playing his game anymore." Catherine looked at her like she'd grown a second head. "What happened to you?" "I figured out what actually matters." "And that is?" Lena thought about Mia's laugh, about Ethan's hand in hers, about sleeping through the night without work anxiety eating her alive. "Not this," she said. Catherine shook her head. "You're either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both. Time will tell." The showdown came in February. Lena was in a meeting with the Vanguard leadership team when Marcus burst in. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, not sounding sorry at all. "But we have a problem." Lena looked up. "Can it wait?" "No, one of our integration partners just pulled out. Says they're going with a competitor." The room went silent. Lena's stomach dropped. "Which partner?" "Dalton Industries. They signed with Arcadia Capital this morning." Lena stood. "Excuse me, we'll resume this later." She walked out, Marcus following. "How did this happen?" she asked. "You tell me. You're supposed to be managing these relationships." "I've been in constant contact with Dalton. They were happy with our terms." "Apparently not happy enough." Lena pulled out her phone and called Dalton's CEO directly. He answered on the third ring. "Ms. Carter." "Robert, I just heard. What happened?" A pause. "It's nothing personal, Lena. Arcadia made a better offer. We can match it. It's not just the money. They're more available. We need a partner who's all in." Lena's chest tightened. "I'm all in." "Are you?" "Because my team says you've been hard to reach lately. Meetings rescheduled, calls going to voicemail." "That's not—" "Look, you're talented, but Arcadia wants this more. And in this business, hunger matters." "Robert, the decision's made. I'm sorry." He hung up. Lena stood there, phone in hand, feeling the floor drop out from under her. Marcus was watching with barely concealed satisfaction. "This is what happens when you take your foot off the gas." "Shut up, Marcus. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You've been distracted, and now it's cost us. One partner now. How many more before the board loses faith?" Lena wanted to throw her phone at his smug face. Instead, she walked to her office and closed the door. She sat at her desk, head in her hands. Marcus was right. She'd been less available. Not by much. She still worked 55 hours a week, still delivered results. But in this industry, less than 100% might as well be zero. Her phone buzzed. Ethan. "Still on for dinner tonight?" She'd promised Mia they'd make tacos. Mia had been talking about it all week. Lena looked at her computer, at the emails already flooding in about Dalton, at the crisis she needed to manage. She typed, "I'll be there." Then she got to work. By 6 o'clock, she'd made 3 calls, drafted a proposal to win Dalton back, and scheduled an emergency meeting with Catherine for tomorrow. It wasn't fixed, but it was contained. She grabbed her coat and left. Dinner was chaotic. Mia insisted on making the shells from scratch, which meant flour everywhere and shells that fell apart when you touched them. But Mia was so proud, beaming as she presented her perfect tacos, that neither Lena nor Ethan had the heart to tell her they were eating glorified taco salad. "These are amazing," Lena said, and meant it. After dinner, after Mia went to bed, Ethan found Lena on the couch, staring at nothing. "You okay?" he asked. "Bad day at work? Want to talk about it?" She did. She told him about Dalton, about Marcus, about the fear that she'd made a huge mistake trying to balance everything. Ethan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, "Do you regret it, setting boundaries?" "No, but I'm scared I'm going to lose everything anyway." "You won't." "How do you know?" "Because you're smart and you work hard and you care." Those things don't go away just because you leave the office at a reasonable hour. Marcus said, Marcus is an asshole. Who cares what he thinks? The board cares. Then prove him wrong. Show them you can do both. What if I can't? Ethan took her hand. Then you'll figure something else out, but I don't think it'll come to that. Why not? Because you're Lena Carter. You climbed 68 floors in a blackout. You think one lost client is going to stop you? She smiled despite herself. When you put it that way, exactly. Now come here. He pulled her against his chest and she let herself sink into him. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For believing in me even when I don't. Always. They sat there in the quiet, and Lena felt the panic slowly recede. She could do this. She could fix this. And if she couldn't, she'd survive. The next morning, Lena walked into Catherine's office with a plan. I'm getting Dalton back, she said. Catherine looked skeptical. How? By giving them what they actually want. Not just money, partnership, innovation, access to our entire network, not just the integration team. That's a significant commitment. I know, but it's worth it. Dalton's a cornerstone client. Losing them sends the wrong message. And if they still say no, then we pivot, find a better partner, but I'm not giving up without a fight. Catherine studied her. You've got 48 hours. Make it happen. Lena made it happen. She spent 2 days on the phone with Dalton, restructuring the offer, bringing in other department heads to sweeten the deal. She worked late, not all night, but late enough to show she was serious. And on Thursday afternoon, Dalton's CEO called back. All right, Lena, you've got a deal. She almost collapsed with relief. Thank you, Robert. You won't regret this. I better not. She hung up and let out a breath she'd been holding for days. Her phone buzzed immediately. Catherine. Well? We got them. Good. My office. Now. Lena walked in to find Catherine and 2 board members waiting. Ms. Carter, Catherine said, congratulations on securing Dalton. Thank you. However, we need to discuss your future here. Lena's stomach dropped. My future? One of the board members, a silver-haired man named Richard, leaned forward. The Dalton situation raised concerns about your availability, your commitment. My results speak for themselves. They do, which is why we're not letting you go. He paused. But we're also not promoting you. Lena blinked. Promoting me? You were on track for VP, Catherine said, but the board feels you're not ready for that level of responsibility. Because I set boundaries? Because leadership at that level requires availability we're not sure you can provide, Richard said. You've made it clear you want balance. That's admirable. But VP isn't a balanced role. Lena felt anger flare. So I'm being punished for having a life outside work. You're being realistic about the demands of the position. That's bullshit. Catherine's eyebrows rose. Richard looked taken aback. Excuse me? He said. I said it's bullshit. I've delivered every single thing you've asked for. The Vanguard integration is ahead of schedule. Client satisfaction is up. My team is performing better than it has in years. But because I'm not killing myself with 100-hour weeks, suddenly I'm not VP material? Ms. Carter, no. You want to know what leadership actually looks like? It looks like knowing when to delegate, when to trust your team, when to step back so you don't burn out and take everyone with you. I'm a better leader now than I was 6 months ago, not in spite of my boundaries, but because of them. Silence. Richard and the other board member exchanged glances. Catherine was smiling. Are you finished? Richard asked. Yes. Good. Because you're right. Lena blinked. What? You're absolutely right. Which is why we're promoting you anyway. I don't understand. Catherine laughed. This was a test, Lena, to see if you'd fold under pressure. Clearly, you didn't. A test? The board wants leaders who can stand up for themselves. You just proved you can. Richard stood. Congratulations, Vice President Carter. You start next month. He left. The other board member followed. Lena stood there, stunned. You're welcome, Catherine said. That was brutal? Yes, but effective. She smiled. You've changed, Lena. For the better. Don't lose that. I won't. Good. Now get out of here. I'm sure you have somewhere to be. Lena did. She left the office at 5:30 and went straight to Ethan's. She burst through the door. I got promoted. Mia looked up from her homework. Really? Really, I'm VP. What's VP? It means I'm kind of a big deal, Lena said, grinning. Ethan came out of the kitchen, dish towel over his shoulder. Congratulations. Thank you. I knew you'd get it. Did you? Because I wasn't sure. He kissed her. I was. You're incredible. Mia made a gagging sound. Gross. They laughed. That night, they celebrated with pizza and ice cream and a movie Mia picked that made no sense but had a lot of explosions. Lena sat between them, Mia leaning against her shoulder, Ethan's arm around her waist, and thought, this is it. This is what success actually feels like. Not the promotion, not the title. This. But the universe, apparently, wasn't done testing her. 2 weeks later, Marcus made his move. He walked into a board meeting Lena wasn't invited to and presented an alternative proposal for the Vanguard integration, one that positioned him as lead and Lena as support. Catherine shut it down immediately, but the damage was done. He's trying to undermine you, Catherine said afterward. I know. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing? He wants a fight. I'm not giving him one. I'm just going to keep doing my job. That's risky. Maybe. But I'm not playing office politics anymore. Either my work speaks for itself or it doesn't. Catherine shook her head. You've changed. Yeah, I have. For a while, it seemed like the right call. Lena focused on work, delivered results, ignored Marcus's attempts to bait her into conflict. But then the bombshell hit. Someone leaked internal documents to a competitor, documents about the Vanguard integration, and Marcus blamed Lena. She's been distracted, he told the board, working from home, leaving early. Who knows who has access to her files? Lena sat in the emergency board meeting, furious. I didn't leak anything, she said. Can you prove that? Marcus asked. Can you prove I did? You've been less careful lately. Everyone's noticed. That's not evidence. That's speculation. Where were you last Tuesday at 8 p.m.? Marcus pressed. Lena's jaw tightened. Home. Alone? With my boyfriend and his daughter. So no one from the company can verify your whereabouts. This is ridiculous, is it? You're the one with the most access to these files. You're the one who's been acting erratically. I haven't been acting erratically. I've been setting boundaries. And now we have a leak. Seems like quite a coincidence. Catherine intervened. That's enough, Marcus. We'll investigate properly. No accusations without evidence. But the seed was planted. Lena walked out of the meeting feeling sick. Someone had sabotaged her, and she had a pretty good idea who. She went straight to IT. I need to see the access logs for the Vanguard files. Last 2 weeks. The IT manager, a guy named Sam, looked nervous. Ms. Carter, I'm not sure I can. I'm VP now. You can and you will. He pulled up the logs. Lena scanned through them. Her access was there, as expected, but so was someone else's. Marcus. He'd accessed the files 3 days ago, at midnight, from a remote login. Can you print this? Lena asked. Sure. She took the printout straight to Catherine. Marcus accessed the files remotely 3 days ago, same files that got leaked. Catherine's expression hardened. You're sure? The logs don't lie. Could he argue he was working? At midnight? On files he shouldn't have access to? Fair point. Catherine stood. Leave this with me. What are you going to do? What needs to be done? 2 days later, Marcus was gone, quietly. No announcement, just gone. Catherine called Lena into her office. It's handled, she said. What happened? Marcus violated protocol multiple times. The leak was just the last straw. Did he admit it? He didn't have to. The evidence spoke for itself. Catherine leaned back. You were right not to engage. He was looking for a fight. You gave him nothing to grab onto. I didn't think it would end like this. How did you think it would end? I don't know. Not with him gone. He made his choices. Now he lives with them. Catherine looked at her. You okay? Yeah, just processing. Take the weekend. Rest. You've earned it. Lena took the weekend. She spent it at Ethan's, doing nothing important. They went to the park, made pancakes, watched Mia's soccer team lose spectacularly, but with enthusiasm. On Sunday night, Mia asked, Are you sad about your work thing? A little. Why? You didn't do anything wrong. I know, but someone I worked with did, and now he's gone. Was he mean? Yeah, pretty mean. Then it's good he's gone. Lena smiled. You're probably right. I'm definitely right. Mia climbed into her lap. You're too nice for mean people. I'm not that nice. Yes, you are. Dad says so. Lena looked at Ethan. He shrugged, smiling. Your dad's biased. What's biased mean? It means he likes me, so he thinks I'm better than I am. But you are better. You're the best. Lena hugged her tight. Thanks, kiddo. That night, after Mia was asleep, Ethan found Lena on the couch. You really okay? He asked. Yeah, I think I am. You handled this whole thing really well. I didn't do anything. Exactly. You didn't let him bait you, didn't stoop to his level, just kept doing your job. That took guts. Or stupidity. No, guts. He sat next to her. I'm proud of you. For what? Getting sabotaged? For not letting it destroy you. For still being here. For still showing up. Lena leaned against him. I'm trying. I know, and you're doing great. Am I? Yeah, you are. She wanted to believe him, and slowly she was starting to. Spring came to the city like an apology. Soft rain washing away the last gray slush of winter. Trees budding green along the avenues. The air finally losing its bitter edge. Lena stood at her office window on a Tuesday morning in April, coffee in hand, watching people hurry past on the street below. A year ago, she would have been at her desk already, 3 meetings deep, running on 4 hours of sleep and pure adrenaline. Now she was just here, present, awake. Her phone buzzed. Mia, texting from Ethan's phone. Can we get pizza tonight? Dad says it's your turn to pick. Lena smiled. Pizza sounds perfect. I'll bring dessert. Cookies? Yes, cookies. You're the best. She pocketed her phone and turned back to her desk. The Vanguard integration had closed last month, 6 months ahead of schedule, 20% under budget. The board was thrilled. Catherine had actually smiled. Lena's team had celebrated with champagne and terrible karaoke. And Lena had left at 7 to make it to Mia's spring concert. On time. Front row. The look on Mia's face when she'd spotted her in the audience, pure joy, no hesitation, had been worth more than any promotion. Her assistant knocked. Miss Carter, you have a visitor? Who? She says her name is Jennifer Cole. Lena's stomach dropped. She'd never met Mia's mother. Ethan barely talked about her. And now she was here. Send her in. The woman who walked through the door was younger than Lena expected. Early 30s, blonde, put together in that effortless way that came from money or practice or both. She had Mia's eyes. Ms. Carter, she said, thank you for seeing me. Mrs. Cole. Jennifer, please, I haven't been Mrs. Cole in 5 years. She sat without being invited. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here. The thought crossed my mind. Jennifer looked uncomfortable. Good. She should be. I've been hearing things. About you and Ethan. About you spending time with Mia. Lena's jaw tightened. Is that a problem? That depends. What are your intentions? My intentions? With my daughter. Lena set down her coffee very carefully. Your daughter, the one you left when she was 2, that daughter? Jennifer flinched. I didn't leave her. I left the situation. Semantics. You don't know what it was like. You're right, I don't. But I know Ethan raised her alone for 5 years. I know Mia doesn't ask about you because she's learned not to expect anything. I know I made mistakes, Jennifer cut in. I know that, but I'm trying to do better now. Now, 5 years later? I wasn't ready to be a mother then. I was young, overwhelmed. And Ethan wasn't? He was the same age as you, but he stayed. Jennifer's composure cracked slightly. I'm not here to defend myself. I'm here because Mia is my daughter and I want to be part of her life again. Lena's stomach twisted. Does Ethan know you're here? Not yet. I wanted to talk to you first. Why? Because apparently you're important to her, and I need to know if you're going to be a problem. Lena laughed, sharp and humorless. I'm going to be a problem? You abandoned your kid for 5 years and I'm the problem? I didn't abandon her. I send money. I call on her birthday twice a year, Ethan told me. 2 phone calls and a check. That's not being a mother, that's guilt management. Jennifer stood. I don't have to justify myself to you. No, you have to justify yourself to Mia and to Ethan, but something tells me you won't. You think you know everything about this situation? I know enough. I know Mia is happy. I know Ethan is a better parent alone than most people are with help. I know that whatever you're planning, it's going to hurt them both. I'm her mother, biologically. But that little girl has been building a life without you. And if you actually cared about her, you'd think really hard about whether showing up now is for her benefit or yours. Jennifer's face went cold. I could make things very difficult for Ethan. Custody laws favor mothers. Try it, Lena said quietly. Please try it. And watch what happens when you go up against a man who's been there every single day for 5 years and a lawyer who will bury you in paperwork. You'd do that? For them? Absolutely. They stared at each other. Jennifer broke first. I just want to see her. The fight went out of her voice. Suddenly, she just looked tired. Lena's anger cooled slightly. That's not my call to make. You need to talk to Ethan. He won't take my calls. Can you blame him? No. Jennifer looked away. I was a terrible partner. I panicked when Mia was born and I ran. I know that. But I've been sober for 2 years now. I have a therapist. I'm trying to be better. That's good, really. But being better doesn't erase what you did. I know, but doesn't Mia deserve to know her mother? Maybe, if her mother actually shows up. Not just physically, but emotionally. Consistently. Can you do that? Jennifer hesitated. I want to try. Wanting isn't enough. Ethan tried to tell me that once and he was right. So what do I do? You talk to Ethan. You be honest. You don't make promises you can't keep. And if he gives you a chance, you show up. Every single time. No excuses. Jennifer nodded slowly. Okay. And Jennifer, if you hurt that little girl, you'll answer to me. Understood? Understood. She left. Lena sat down, hands shaking. She called Ethan immediately. Hey, he answered. What's up? Jennifer was just here. Silence. Then, what? She came to my office, wanted to talk about seeing Mia. Jesus, what did you say? That she needs to talk to you. But Ethan, she seems serious about trying. Trying, right. His voice was bitter. She's tried before. It never lasts. I know, but she says she's been sober for 2 years. She said that 3 years ago, too. I'm just telling you what she said. What you do with it is up to you. Ethan was quiet for a long moment. I don't want Mia getting hurt. Neither do I. But we can't protect her from everything, and Jennifer is her mom, even if she's been absent. Maybe Mia deserves the chance to know her. What if it goes bad? Then we're there to pick up the pieces, like always. Another pause. You said we. Yeah, I did. Lena, we're in this together, right? That's what you told me. So if Jennifer comes back, we handle it together. She heard him exhale. Yeah, together. I love you, Lena said. She hadn't said it before. It just came out. I love you too, Ethan said without hesitation. They hung up and Lena sat there, heart pounding. She'd just told him she loved him, in the middle of a crisis. Very romantic, but it was true. She did love him, loved them both, and she'd protect them with everything she had. That night, Lena brought cookies and pizza and tried to act normal while Mia chattered about school. After Mia went to bed, Ethan told her Jennifer had called. What did she say? Lena asked. That she wants to see Mia, have dinner or something, supervised. What did you say? I said I'd think about it. And? Ethan ran a hand through his hair. I don't know. Part of me wants to tell her to go to hell, but the other part thinks, what if she really has changed? What if Mia grows up and resents me for keeping them apart? You're not keeping them apart. Jennifer left. That's on her. I know. But it's still complicated. Lena took his hand. Whatever you decide, I support you. Even if I let her back in? Even then, as long as Mia's protected. She will be. I'll make sure of it. 2 weeks later, Ethan agreed to a supervised visit. 1 hour. at a park, with him present. Lena offered to come, but Ethan said no. This needs to be just us, for now. She understood. Didn't like it, but understood. She spent that afternoon pacing her apartment, checking her phone every 5 minutes. Finally, Ethan called. "How'd it go?" she asked. "Okay. Weird, but okay. Mia was shy at first, but Jennifer brought her favorite books. I guess she's been keeping track somehow. They read together. That's good. Yeah, Mia asked if Jennifer could come again." Lena's chest tightened. "What did you say?" "I said maybe, if she keeps showing up." "And you think she will?" "I don't know, but I'm willing to give her a chance for Mia's sake." "Okay, then so am I." Over the next 2 months, Jennifer showed up. Every week. Same day, same time. She brought books, played games, slowly rebuilt something with Mia. It wasn't perfect. There were awkward moments, tears, confusion, but Jennifer kept coming. And Lena watched Ethan slowly, carefully let his guard down. "She's really trying," he admitted one night. "I hate that I believe her, but I do." "That's not a bad thing." "Feels like it. Feels like I'm betraying the last 5 years." "You're not. You're being a good dad, letting Mia have both parents if it's possible." "What if it's not?" "Then we deal with it, like everything else." He kissed her forehead. "What did I do to deserve you?" "Carried me up 68 floors. Best decision I ever made." By summer, Jennifer had earned supervised visits at Ethan's apartment. She'd come for dinner once a week. It was tense at first, Jennifer and Ethan barely speaking, Lena playing mediator, Mia oblivious to the undercurrents, but slowly it got easier. One night in July, Jennifer stayed to help clean up after dinner. "Thank you," she said to Lena quietly, "for not making this harder than it had to be." "I didn't do it for you, I did it for Mia." "I know, but still, you could have made Ethan shut me out. He would have listened to you." "That's not my call to make. Mia's your daughter." Jennifer wiped down the counter. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you want kids? Of your own?" Lena paused. She'd been thinking about that lately. "I don't know. Maybe someday." "But you love Mia." "Yeah, I do." "She loves you too. She talks about you constantly." Lena's throat tightened. "She does?" "Yeah, Lena this, Lena that. She wants to be like you when she grows up. She should want to be like herself." Jennifer smiled. "You're good for them, for both of them. Don't screw it up." "I'll try not to." "Good." It was the closest they'd come to a real conversation. Lena took it. In August, Lena's promotion became official. Vice president, corner office, a team of 12, the whole package. Catherine called her in on her first official day. "Congratulations, VP Carter." "Thank you. You've earned this. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." "I won't." Catherine leaned back. "I'm curious. A year ago, you would have killed for this promotion. Now you seem calm." "I am." "Why?" Lena thought about it. "Because it's not everything anymore. It's important, but it's not everything." "And what is everything?" "Balance. People who matter. A life outside these walls." Catherine smiled. "You really have changed." "Yeah, I have." "Good. We need more leaders like you. People who understand there's more to life than quarterly earnings." "You think the board agrees?" "Some of them. The smart ones." Catherine stood. "Now get out of here. You have an empire to run." Lena ran it well. She built a team that trusted her, implemented policies that prioritized work-life balance, and still delivered record results. People noticed. Trade publications wrote about her. She got invited to speak at conferences. Headhunters called weekly with offers. But Lena wasn't interested. She had everything she needed right here. In September, Ethan asked her to move in. They were at his apartment, Mia asleep on the couch between them after a movie marathon. "This is nice," Ethan said. "Having you here?" "Yeah. You're here most nights anyway." "True. So why keep paying rent on a place you never use?" Lena looked at him. "Are you asking me to move in?" "Yeah, I am." "What about Mia?" "She already asked me when you were going to live here for real." "She did?" "Yeah, last week. I told her I had to ask you first." Lena looked down at Mia, curled against her side, Gerald tucked under her chin. "What if it doesn't work?" she asked quietly. "What if it does?" "Ethan," Look, I know it's fast, I know it's scary, but I also know I love you. Mia loves you, and we want you here, all the time, not just when work allows. I want that too. Then say yes. Lena took a breath. Yes. Ethan grinned. Yeah? Yeah. He kissed her, careful not to wake Mia. When they pulled apart, Lena was crying. Happy tears? Ethan asked. Very happy tears. Good. Mia stirred. Are you guys being gross again? They laughed. Go back to sleep, kiddo, Ethan said. Okay. She burrowed deeper into the couch. But Lena has to stay. She's staying, Ethan said, looking at Lena. For good. Moving in was chaos. Lena's sleek, minimalist furniture clashed with Ethan's worn practicality and Mia's explosive rainbow of toys and art supplies. They made it work. Lena's fancy coffee maker lived next to Ethan's ancient toaster. Her designer couch got covered in blankets and stuffed animals. Her office became a shared space, half work, half Mia's homework station. It was messy and imperfect and absolutely perfect. On a Saturday in October, they were painting Mia's room. She'd insisted on purple with yellow stars. When Mia asked, "Are you going to marry my dad?" Lena nearly dropped the paintbrush. Ethan, halfway up a ladder, froze. Lena said, "That's a big question." Emma's mom and her boyfriend got married. They had a big party with cake. Did they? Yeah. I was thinking you and Dad should do that. Then you'd be official. We're already official. But not married official. Lena looked at Ethan. He looked back, eyebrows raised, clearly enjoying watching her squirm. We haven't really talked about that, Lena said carefully. Why not? Because it's complicated. Is it? Honestly, it wasn't. Lena knew exactly how she felt. She just wasn't sure if Mia, Ethan said from the ladder. Can you go grab more paper towels from the kitchen? But please, she huffed, but went. Ethan climbed down, walked over to Lena, and took her hand. So, he said, marriage. Yeah. You thinking about it? Maybe. Are you? Yeah, I am. Lena's heart hammered. And I think we should wait. Her stomach dropped. Oh. Not because I don't want to, but because we've only been together a year. We just moved in together. Let's give it time. Make sure this is really working. Right, that makes sense, Liz. But for the record, he kissed her softly. I'm going to ask you someday. When the time's right. You are? Yeah, so don't go anywhere. I won't. Mia came back with paper towels. Did you decide? Decide what? Ethan asked innocently. About getting married. We decided to finish painting your room first. Dad! What? Priorities, kiddo. She threw a paper towel at him. They finished the room, stars and all, and that night Lena lay in bed thinking about marriage and forever, and how strange it was that a year ago she'd been alone in a corporate apartment, and now she was here, covered in purple paint, planning a future with people she loved. Life was weird, but good weird. In November, the Vanguard Partnership won a major industry award. Lena was invited to accept it at a black tie gala. Bring Ethan, Catherine said. He doesn't really do black tie events. Then he'll learn. Bring him. Lena brought him. Ethan looked uncomfortable in the rented tux, tugging at his collar. I feel like a penguin. A very handsome penguin. That doesn't make it better. The gala was everything Lena used to love. Important people, expensive champagne, conversations that mattered to someone somewhere. Now it just felt exhausting. You okay? Ethan asked. Yeah, just ready for it to be over. We can leave. I have to accept the award. After that, then, they stayed for the ceremony. Lena gave a short speech thanking her team, accepting the award, and wrapping it up faster than anyone expected. Afterward, they snuck out early and got hot dogs from a street vendor. This is better, Lena said, eating hers on the steps of a closed library. Than a 5-star dinner? Way better. Ethan smiled. You've changed. Is that bad? No, it's good. You're more you. I'm more me by eating hot dogs on library steps?
Yeah, the Lena I met wouldn't have left that gala early. She would have worked the room until midnight. The Lena you met was a workaholic. And now? Now I'm just a person who happens to work. There's a difference. Yeah, there is. They finished their hot dogs and went home to relieve Mrs. Chen, who'd been watching Mia. Mia was already asleep. They paid Mrs. Chen, changed out of their fancy clothes, and collapsed on the couch. Thank you, Lena said. For what?
For coming tonight. I know it's not your thing. You're my thing, so if you need me there, I'm there. Even in a penguin suit? Even then. She kissed him. I love you. I love you too. It was quiet and simple and real, and Lena realized this was what success actually looked like. Not awards or promotions or recognition. This, coming home to people who loved you, being enough exactly as you were. December brought snow and the holidays, and Mia's relentless excitement about everything. Jennifer had started spending Christmas Eve with them. Awkward at first, but getting easier. Lena had suggested it, figuring if they were going to do this co-parenting thing, they might as well do it fully. On Christmas morning, Mia woke them up at 6. It's Christmas! Santa came! It's 6 a.m., Ethan groaned. So, come on. They stumbled into the living room. Mia tore into presents with wild abandon. Gerald got a new cape. Mia got books and art supplies and a bike she'd been begging for. She gave Ethan a mug she'd painted herself that said, "World's okayest dad." Thanks, kid, he said, laughing. You're welcome. Then she gave Lena a box. Inside was a drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands. 1 tall, 1 small, 1 medium, all smiling. Below it, in Mia's careful handwriting, my family. Lena couldn't speak. Do you like it? Mia asked nervously. I love it, Lena whispered. It's perfect. I made a frame too. Dad helped. Ethan smiled. Just a little. Lena hung it in their bedroom that afternoon, and every time she looked at it, she felt something settle deeper. This was home. This was family. Not perfect. Not easy. But hers. On New Year's Eve, they stayed home. Mia insisted on staying up until midnight, but fell asleep on the couch at 9:30. Ethan carried her to bed while Lena cleaned up the popcorn explosion from their movie. When he came back, he pulled her onto the couch. Happy almost New Year, he said. Happy almost New Year. You know what I was thinking about? What? That night, the blackout, when I carried you up those stairs. You think about that a lot? Sometimes. I think about how you looked, terrified and determined and refusing to quit. I was a mess. You were fighting. I respected that. You said, I still do. You're still fighting, just for different things now. Lena thought about it. He was right. She was fighting for balance, for this relationship, for a life that felt real. Are you happy? She asked. Yeah, are you? Yeah, I really am. Good. They sat there, watching the minutes tick toward midnight, and Lena thought about everything that had changed in the last year. A year ago, she'd been alone, ambitious, successful, empty. Now she was part of something bigger than herself, messier than she'd planned, better than she'd imagined. At midnight, fireworks exploded outside. Ethan kissed her. Happy New Year, Lena. Happy New Year. And it was. It really was. 6 months later, on a random Tuesday in June, Ethan proposed. Not at a fancy restaurant, not on a beach, in their kitchen, while Lena was making coffee and Mia was at school. Hey, Lena? Yeah? Marry me. She turned. He was holding a ring, simple, understated, perfect. What? I know I said we'd wait, but I don't want to wait anymore. I love you. Mia loves you. We want you here forever, official forever. So marry me. Lena's hands shook. Ethan, you don't have to answer now. Think about it. But I wanted you to know, yes. He blinked. What? Yes. I'll marry you. You will? Yeah, I will. He slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her, and Lena thought, this is it. This is what I was climbing toward all along. Not success, not titles, not recognition. This, love, family, home. They told Mia that night. She screamed so loud the neighbors knocked on the wall. "Does this mean Lena's my mom now?" she asked. "If she wants to be," Ethan said, looking at Lena. Lena knelt down. "I'd be honored, but Jennifer's your mom too. You can have both." "Can I call you Mom?" "If you want to." Mia thought about it. "I think I do, but only sometimes. Is that okay?" "That's perfect." Mia hugged her. "I love you, Mom." Lena's eyes filled. "I love you too, kiddo." They got married in September. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Mrs. Chen cried. Catherine showed up with expensive wine. Jennifer came and stood in the back, smiling. Mia was the flower girl. She took it very seriously. When Lena walked down the aisle in a simple dress, no veil, no fuss, Ethan was waiting. They said their vows. Simple, honest, real. And when they kissed, Mia cheered. At the reception, Lena's dad pulled her aside. They'd been working on their relationship, slowly, carefully. "I'm proud of you," he said. "For what?" "For figuring out what matters. Took me 40 years to learn that lesson. You got it faster." "Thanks, Dad." "He's a good man." "Yeah, he is." "You happy?" "Really happy." "Good. That's all I wanted for you." Later, dancing with Ethan while Mia spun in circles nearby, Lena thought about how far she'd come. From a woman climbing stairs alone in the dark to this, surrounded by people who loved her, building a life that felt real. It hadn't been easy. There'd been setbacks and mistakes and moments where she'd almost given up. But she hadn't. She'd kept climbing, just toward something different than she'd expected. "What are you thinking about?" Ethan asked. "That night, the blackout." "Again with the blackout." "I can't help it. Everything started there." "Not everything. Just us." "Just us," she echoed. "Like that's not everything." He smiled. "Fair point." They danced until Mia crashed, asleep on a chair with Gerald in her lap. Then they went home, their home, and Lena looked around at the life they'd built. Messy, imperfect, real. And she realized something. Success wasn't reaching the top. It was finding people worth climbing for. People who made the journey matter more than the destination. She'd spent years chasing something she thought she wanted, and in the end, what she'd needed found her, in a dark stairwell, when she was too exhausted to keep pretending. Ethan had carried her up those stairs, but really, they'd carried each other, into something better than either of them could have built alone, into a family, a life, a future, not perfect, just theirs. And that was more than enough. Years later, people would ask Lena about her success, about how she balanced it all, the career, the family, the life, and she'd think about that night, about Ethan's voice in the dark, about the choice to let someone help, about learning that strength wasn't doing everything alone. She'd think about Mia's drawings covering their fridge, about Ethan's hand in hers, about coming home to people who loved her exactly as she was, and she'd smile, because the truth was simple. She hadn't balanced anything. She'd just stopped trying to do it all and started doing what mattered. The rest fell into place on its own, not perfectly, not easily, but honestly. And in the end, that was the only success that counted, the kind you built with people you loved, the kind that felt like home.